So in this video I'll be sharing multiple causes of leaf burn on Japanese maples and what we can do about it to avoid further problems. Hi there maple fans, and in this series of videos I'll be sharing what I do throughout an entire year on a monthly basis. Please note that these months are based on UK timings, but of course can easily be adapted to anywhere else in the world. So we'll start off today looking at this orange lace. What we can see is quite a bushy tree with some sort of long protruding branches with leaves on them that look quite burned. Now firstly, these are going to be in more direct sunlight than some of the inner leaves, and secondly, as this is quite a spindly tree, a smaller amount of wind, as we can see there, creates quite a lot of movement, and that's all going to have a drying effect. So with this particular tree, I'd put the damage down to too much direct sunlight on the outside and too much wind movement too. As we'll see in a sec, there are definitely ways of mitigating wind, but it's really important to note that the root system of this tree is actually perfectly healthy because the damage is occurring in different areas of the tree. If it's damaged all over, that would point to a very, very poor root system that just cannot provide enough moisture to the tree at all, which is a different issue. So just moving on to quite a large planting of bamboo here. This is in fact running bamboo that I put into very thick plastic containers to make sure it doesn't spread. Clumping bamboo is better, but running bamboo would spread all over the garden into next door and cause a lot of problems. But as you can see, this is about 3 or 4 years in the planting now, and it's thickening up nicely. That plus the conifers behind offer a permanent degree of wind protection to these trees, whereas the tree I just showed you is on the other side, so that's subject to more wind damage. So it's a good example actually of creating a natural barrier. Please note that hard landscaping like walls or hard fences are really, really poor at actually mitigating wind. And many examples I've seen on Facebook or on the internet generally, people can't understand why their trees are getting damaged or wind damaged. But in fact, putting them by a wall does probably more harm than good. Wind rushes over a fence, round a wall, gets very, very turbulent, and it really doesn't help at all. So slowing the wind down with other trees is really the key to success, to be honest with you. So here we have my Katsura, and the sun does get over the top of that fence midsummer, as it is now in the UK, and unfortunately does burn the top leaves. And I think the lesson here is, as long as the bulk of the plant is absolutely fine, it's pretty much impossible with Japanese maples, and we'll certainly come to one I've got in the ground later on in the video, to protect everything, every single leaf. So a little bit of leaf damage at the top. The leaves are still there, they're acting as a bit of shade to the leaves below, works perfectly well. But please note the Yasmin here is absolutely fine in direct sunlight, it just doesn't mind at all. Which brings us on to another subject we'll cover at great length, is that picking the right cultivar for the right location is absolutely key. And also just pointing out as well that the leaves of this Jerry Swartz are quite green at the bottom there because they're quite shady, where they're more red at the top, and that's absolutely fine too. Okushima here gets a lot of morning sun, many hours of it really. Again, it's a right cultivar to survive and do quite well in that environment. So here we have this dissectum that does the same thing every year. The leaves low down the tree are quite green, the ones on the top are quite red, and it really doesn't mind it at all. So there's another element here to consider, that some trees just don't mind direct sun, but some do. So the majority of trees we're coming on to look at now really don't like direct sunlight at all. So never mind wind, never mind heat, direct sunlight can be a real problem to many of them. Please note as well that the trees that I've got into direct sunlight have leafed out this spring into the sun. Great common mistake is people buy new Japanese maples where they've been protected from sunlight in sort of tunnels, polytunnels for their entire growing life, and put them straight out into full sun, and the trees just aren't adapted at all, they're not accustomised. So it's a really good idea to, if you buy a tree mid-season, to keep them in shade initially this year and then put them out into sun next year. You've also got these trees here which are quite small on the table. They are junior trees, they don't have that many leaves to kind of get burnt and survive really. So I prefer them to grow them on for a year or two. So these were bought as small 1 litre pots last year, kept in those 1 litre pots and then replanted into slightly bigger ones. And for keeping them, they've really grown on fast. But for a year to get them nicely established into those pots and then put them out in the sun next year is a really good insurance policy. And here we have Jordan, which is a great example, and Orange Dream here as well. Well, it's Dragon Master actually, which is a sort of Orange Dream variant. that's weeping, which is lovely. But these trees really hate any kind of direct sunlight whatsoever. They're not too bad in a bit of wind, they're not too bad in high temperatures, but direct sunlight is a really bad idea for those cultivars. So Ukigumo here, absolute classic, beautifully white, changing colour slightly with a hint of pink, but it's certainly a nice colour this year. Again, not much chlorophyll on there, doesn't really like direct sunlight. There's another tree here which is Acer red wine, which does have a little bit of dieback, so that needs snipping off. But the vast majority of what is quite a large tree is perfectly healthy. We've got Acer Sharon here, which is really good in shade because it stays red. So some of the green trees in sunlight turn red. This actually stays red in shade because some can turn green. So that's a nice cultivar if you can get hold of one. So just to kind of recap here, we've got direct wind, which we can mitigate with soft landscaping. So you can buy fences that allows wind to pass through and slow it down. That's very useful. You can use conifers, we can use bamboo, we can use other maples, to be honest, that all helps. And that's very beneficial. We've got control of the temperature, which is really difficult because we can't really change the ambient temperature. However, what we mustn't do is put like slate or pebbles on top of these because a lot of their roots are at the surface, and consequently that's going to cause massive damage by getting really hot in direct sunlight and burn the roots essentially. You've also got picking the right cultivar. So that was Shishikashira, which in the wind doesn't move, so you don't get that sort of flapping around in the wind effect, which is really very helpful indeed, and just is a very sturdy cultivar. So picking the correct trees is very important. All of these trees actually get full sun absolutely all day. That's really not a problem to them. They will change colour slightly, they will show the effects of the sun, but they're not really phased by it. So a little bit of research on the purchasing time is very beneficial. So as we can see, all those are quite happy. Makawa Yatsubusa, beautiful little tree. I've got another miniature one of those as well, so we'll grow that on. Absolutely splendid. And Shana again, the more sun you throw at Shana, the sort of more it seems to do well. Stay red and be quite lovely really. And Sirio is an absolute classic as well. A great idea to put one of those in the ground, as I may have mentioned before, because in the ground they grow really fast and that would be really sun tolerant and offer protection to other trees. And Hubb's Red Willow, it's a bit like Kota Nuito, if people know that one, but it's kind of red. These spindly leaves are pretty much windproof, they don't get affected by wind too much, and because it's red it does extremely well. So now we come to Viridis, and this is a tree that's suffering. It's been okay all year, it's well acclimatized. It's trying to do its best, but as you can see there's quite a few sort of burnt leaves there. That'll be okay, that'll survive, but that needs moving to a shady area and some action taken. So if in doubt and they're in pots, and once again always a great idea to keep these plants in pots because you can always move them and learn about their habits. But we'll get that Viridis move shortly into some shade and that will recover quite nicely. So very important to take immediate action if you see damage all over a tree like that. Here we have a garnet at the front of my property, and even though this is on a north facing aspect, it does get quite a bit of sun in the mornings and the evenings now. So, but absolutely loves it, no problem at all. Also, just to note that that's in a very large planter I made a few years ago, to be honest, about 4 or 5 years ago. But in that enormous planter, it does extremely well. Even though I often recommend putting Japanese maples into small pots to protect their roots, in fact, because the entire bottom of that planter is landscape fabric and drainage, it's absolutely thrived in that location. So once again, there's always an exception to the rule, but that's getting on a nice-ish size now, so I'm quite pleased with it. And also, what about trees in the ground? Because this is where planting is really important. We can't move it, we can't really surround it, it's too big. What is one to do? I think that in general the planting there was absolutely fine. As you can see, there is a fair amount of leaf damage on the outside of the tree, but it is really quite large now, so that sort of damage to the top will not phase it at all whatsoever. So essentially Japanese maples can cope very well with high temperatures. They can cope with some wind, and many of them can deal with some direct sunlight. The real issue is when they've got all three. So if we can't change the ambient temperature, we can at least protect from wind using materials or other trees or fences that will slow it down. We can water thoroughly, and we can choose a position and a cultivar that really suits that position. And in that way, Japanese maples can absolutely thrive and do extremely well in most locations in the world, to be honest.